Pressure is on for all the duos in the lobby. A lot of them contested right off the start of the match. 3 duos contesting fencing fields, multiple battling their position in the forecast towers. But we're starting with Reason and Vidil, our #1 duo currently on the leaderboard. Will they hold on to it?
By a decent margin as well. 31 points so far. Especially coming in from second place. Their consistency right now is literally insane. And already just looking at their loot at the start of this Snooty Steps drop, they got the purple hammer pump. So already they could take a fight against Pixie and Wox as long as they can get another good shotgun. But contested fight after contested fight, Peak and Vico return back to their original drop spot, and it's worked out so far. They get the first knock onto Kiro, leaving Kuduo by himself.
Vico picked up that frenzy auto shotgun, putting them in the position to have the upper hand on this battle, as Kidua was trying to stay up above, but Vico is going to be able to finish off both players here. And now they're going to get a shot at redemption. Forecast tower should be theirs if Veno and Tayson do not decide to contest it. And we'll see if they can continue it to the late game.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, though. It's that forecast tower specifically that's garnering a lot of attention from new duos each and every single game that does pass. But see Tino in the feed taking out both King and Phaser. Yet again, their struggles go ahead and continue. But honestly, coming all the way around the world is huge for them, as Queasy and Vino look for redemption against Noms and Cridge, who took the fight to them very, very early on that last game.
Lavish Lair, it's always important to stay elevated. When you're dropping against your opponents, you want to land the top side. We switch quickly on over. Mr. Savage Mongrel. Can they come out on top this time around? They've had a rough start to the tournament. But with still a whole other day to be played out. 2 more matches today. A comeback is always possible.
Yeah, and as soon as they finally win their first exchange, that Lox and Lazen contest and move over in this direction yet again, and there's another team on top of the mountain, a 4th party coming in, there's a 5th party on the outskirts, so Savage and Mongrel cannot catch a break here in the day. But sometimes the respect is earned, it's not given. Doesn't matter what accolades you have of the past, it's all about the present, and nobody's really showing them the respect on this drop spot so far.
You can even see the third parties who are interested. They know, hold on a minute, nobody's gotten eliminated yet. They must be still taking shots back and forth. Is it going to open up an option for us to interfere? As Mongrel and Savage quickly realize this and decide it's not worth it to continue trying to find those elims, as they're going to just drop back down to the little kind of turtle base they've made and continue refarming materials.
Which is good for them to try to survive in this situation. But everything for them is going to be halted. There's only a limited amount of materials, limited amount of loot that they're able to gather in this position. So very, very interesting to see how, if, when even they're going to be able to kind of make it out of their drop spot. And if they do, are they going to be able to do it unscathed?
Once again, Malabuka Merch Stash been almost given the vault here in fencing fields. They've gotten the mythic loot, the medallion. Starting off a game with all this loot, all these materials, all this ammunition, really just sets you up for success in the mid game if you're able to capitalize on it. But it's not like the duos just instantly disengage. They're still in the surrounding area. They're still kind of interested to see if anything can come from it.
This is a tough situation to be in, but not too tough though. Malabuka Merstash practicing against the contested drop spot, things going their way more and more each and every single game. Pink, Vico, they won that contested fight. Surprised to not see them boxed up over towards the forecast tower this time around, but if it's not working, I feel like they're making the right move here, is trying to switch things up the best that they can.
Trying to fish up anything they can. The floppers, the shield fish. They do have those shield breaker EMPs. They can do it more efficiently. As we can see, Hen and Ski once again based up, elevated, looking around at their opportunities. But so far, if you look at the mini map, it's not like there's a lot close by.
Yeah. For them, they just kind of positioned up over here towards the forecast tower. This isn't the first time here on the day that they've been able to kind of claim it uncontested even. Nobody's really rotating in this direction, and towards this side of the map, there isn't too many teams contesting each other. So they're probably just looting up, going on their merry way. Pink and Vico, the bout face, they go back for their own forecast tower. So already 2 of the 3, they've been achieved.
Robin getting knocked down. His duo Madax, though, where are you? Looks like he's boxed up right beside him. It's going to be Mongo and Mr. Savage who are taking the engagements. And Savage is able to come out on top, but for how long as the third parties come through? IR Boffo and his duo partner. I mentioned it earlier, but Boffo actually hadn't competed in an FNCS finals for over 1,200 days before this. Ooh. Just like Mongrel, as now Mr. Savage with only 50 shield, 8 HP. Can he get that blessing, that miracle to make it out of this situation, especially against a titanic duo like Merstash and Malabuka?
He's able to buy himself some time, disengage with a crash pad, but going back in the direction of his original drop, which is already looted down to the scraps by multiple teams, not even just the ones that land at that POI. Malabuka and Merstash, now that they're not having to fight off players at fencing fields, are now going to have to go on the lookout to where they're going to get the surge from, and that's why you see them pressing against a lot of these teams into the distance, even taking some shots onto Mr. Savage, who's once again able to escape and disengage, but right into the hands of Prism and Casper.
It's going to be a rough match for Mr. Savage here. I'm not even sure if he has Mongrel's reboot card, as he's going to have to kind of spend his time refarming, relooting until he has a safe option to pick up Mongrel once again. Shimoki and Wheaton, though, on the other hand, full duo to work with, but there are so many opponents close by. Veno on the hill in the bush. Payson continuing to rotate through. Neb's eye drop getting ahead of the pack, as Wheaton Shimoki quickly will continue on their rotate.
Wheaton Shimoki, wouldn't necessarily say they're having a quiet game. You see they're on the leaderboard in 4th place, but it's not necessarily flashy, and that's the thing. You don't have to be flashy as Pink Vico. They take down Flixie, separated from Yanis already, and now he's stuck here as a solo, just on the edge of the zone. Nobody really there to kind of disrupt this and kind of a blessing of disguise in the form of a third party, so he has no choice but just try to disengage on out by himself. Pink's going to put down some of that suppressive fire. Vico's going to be on the chase, and they see this as 4 free points, and points that they need because where they're positioned at on the leaderboard doesn't necessarily scream comeback for day 2.
Vico and Pink controlling this fight, as now it looks like Yanis has been forced for a quick bathroom break. You know, sometimes you got to do it in the middle of the tournament. But the question is, are they going to keep chasing him down? We talked about the forecast tower. I mean, once they got the elims on Kiduo and Kiro, you'd think they have it free. But Case and Benno sometimes are interested. Yanis Flixie as well. And it looks like they were able to get it, but it led to, once again, another battle.
You ask yourself, what did it cost to go ahead and get that forecast tower? Is it worth it? Because there is another game right after this, the 6th and final game for day 1 and the official halfway point of the EU FNCS Grand Finals. Side drop Nebs just all the way on the outskirts trying to get their combat cash. Only 2 teams even have an image on the mini-map, and nobody's rotating in their direction, so it's going to be continued smooth sailing for iDrop and Nebs through this next zone.
Yeah, you said it. Nobody in sight here. You can see Win Shimoki far away. Actually going to be close. Actually, no. Mixin ping. 6 shots in the Reaper. A lot of players on this hill. As right now, they're just kind of waiting for the engagement to come through. Will they take it or not is the question. As Swizzy and Putrick continue to drop down. It might be that they don't really need to take this fight. They know that there's another team watching them potentially. And there's no winning duo if the fight commences.
Yeah, they're just kind of waiting. They know they have that launch pad. You saw them with no grapple blade, no crash pad in their inventory. They're just ready to disengage, but Swizzy Pootrick, they don't have that luxury. Nice shot to drop the shield of Lunex, and Swizzy looking like he was going to go on the offensive, but immediately sees that they created some distance in the form of elevation, and that's going to give him a chance to finally disengage on out. You see Mixon and Pings backtracking towards their launch pad. The lock-on pistol, he's trying to land some cheeky shots. Even though they're able to disengage and get on out, Swizzy Pootrick give themselves another shot at this game.
Not locking on. But you can see Ping actually is going to pick up a player now. Once they saw Swizzy and Pootrick run away, they said, okay, it's a 2v2 now. I like those odds. We'll take those odds. Going in their favor. Pablo Bevies feeling extra happy going into this match. Tried to go for a no-scope grapple blade. Not sure if this is the time, but I mean, fair play to him.
I was kind of hoping it hit secretly. You know, don't tell them. I was kind of hoping he hit the no scope of a lifetime. But now he one stuck on the bottom of the mountain. Pablo's still hot on the chase. Other players now putting some shots in. Pablo gets sniped. He has no choice but to literally stop in his tracks, try to heal up. What they thought was free points has the possibility of escaping them, but he takes a whole turn away from the team that actually sniped. So Pablo and Bevies could have the option here to go right back on that chase, but they need to watch out for Veno and Tasty.
Yeah, you can see on the minimap, though, it looks like their opponents are doing a rotate kind of around them, not beelining it towards them. So they should be able to make it in here, and they might have just sparted a surprise little present as they slowly creep in it, get closer and closer, take the shots, get the crack, and now continue. Close quarter combat commences. One shot is all it takes. Pablo hitting it. And now that's 2 elims for the duo.
I feel like Pablo saw that one in slow motion. He had his hammer pump out the entire time, waiting for the edit to come in. And as soon as it does, quick reactions, ends that run. Continues rotating on over. All those teams in the distance heard that fight go down. You saw Chapix, his duo, slowly but surely moving in that direction. So great awareness for them to get the elimination, get the loot, and continue their journey moving forward.
Mishatini now trying to kind of take one of those back and forth box fights for the combat cash. In these situations, you might think they're just fighting for the loot. They just want to secure that extra little reward, but it's also about the damage. I mean, you know there's another duo that's going to be going for it. If you can even take some shots and do a bit of damage, it could be more than enough. Malabuka Murstache up above in this box fight.
Trying to cut
Looks
him
like
off.
they're leading it currently, but Malabuka gets cracked. Has to be careful.
Yeah, luckily for him, Murstache is there to put down the continuous pressure. They don't want to give Chapix time to heal up in this fight. All that damage go to the wayside, especially since it is a 2v1 scenario where they have a massive advantage. Nobody looking in that direction. 700 above the threshold. Things just looking so good for Murstache and Malabuka. All they have to do is end this fight, and they're already breaking in on the other side. 2 angles, better than 1. And even though Malabuka takes a haymaker, he lands a bigger one himself to take down Chapix.
Now, gonna re-heal up. They have the Flowberry Fish. They have the extra heals from those eliminations. Vidil and Resin 295 above. Rift Island has appeared close to them. We've seen Reason and Vidil kind of interested in this location throughout these past matches as they continue to take shots on the players around. But so far, they're just gonna sit by that bush. Most likely have a rift as well in there, which they can use to rotate later on.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Flixie. Yanis was actually able to reboot him. Last we saw Yanis, he was kind of getting chased away by Pink and Vico. I do believe towards Grand Glacier. So not only has it been one true battle for Yanis to get Flixie back up into this point, they've been rotating for eons, and they're so separated right now. Yanis needs to be careful. He's the one ahead of Flixie in towards zone, trying to go ahead and IGL them. Give him a good spot they can try to get back into the game with, because 69 below the threshold in Surge is not a feeling anybody in this lobby wants to be a part of.
Be careful, though. CZB in a bush. Porhawa Vexi right below. Are they below? It looks like they are, but they're going directly in for the action. Unable to get through the build. Shots connect on CZB, but it's not enough to put them above. Now down to 43 damage. As the pressure is on, the shots come through. They want to drop Flixie down, but he is aware. Janice gets cracked now. The opponents know they are getting ticked. They need to make something happen.
Yeah, still need a ton of players to go down here in the zone. 15 overall. They're on the edge of that Storm Surge threshold, so they believe they could try to out-heal it, maybe find some shots along the way, but nothing coming to fruition, and Yanis goes down. Storm Surge finally does him in. Flixie has to go ahead and dig deep, but he gets taken out as well. CZB out of nowhere from the bush, he strikes.
Deciding to push on through. CZB Nathan capitalize on the Storm Surge, securing that refresh, and now continuing to rotate towards zone. It's Tayson Benno as well, 528 above, incredibly healthy, looking to see if they can do some damage on these opponents that need that Storm Surge. They know they can put themselves into risky situations. It's going to be Teeny, though, who's going to take down Scroll. His duo partner as well has already been eliminated. He's forced to play it out as a solo, ultimately leading to his demise.
Wasn't necessarily a bad situation, but he needed to separate himself to pop the med kit. Benno and Tayson working on their game, adapting on the fly. 500 above the damage threshold. Their struggles for Storm Surge are no more. And there's still a whole nother couple of teams in front of them. Even if they don't get the elimination, that's more Storm Surge. One less team to worry about. Shmoky with an underground attack, peeking through the cone, landing a good number of frenzy shots, dropping down the shield, helping in terms of Storm Surge and his survival.
He's lost weight, though. Now, it's all up to him. The pressure's on his shoulders. Is he strong enough to hold on? He is 65 above, but as the duos that need that damage continue to chase him down, he needs to find an escape route here. Crouches behind a wall. This could be enough to turn the fight around. 3 medkits, 5 minis, Flowberry Fizz, more than enough to heal back up. But the opponents know he has to be crouched somewhere here.
Yeah, they're watching every corner, making sure to clear it before they go in. And somebody just got taken out. You saw Shmoky go from 56 above to over 200 above. And I saw on the feed, Vidil might have been one of them. Prism goes down as well. The elimination feed kind of lighten up at this stage in the game, and you know exactly why. 15 teams needed to go down at one point or another. At this stage in the game, another 10 need to drop when Storm Surge activates.
6 zone. Storm now active. You said it yourself, Jacob. 10 teams. Which is it gonna be? With Reason only 14 above, having lost Vidil, there's so many solos trying to scavenge as many points as possible in this 5th match. As the rift comes through, so do the options. Does he land on top of a duo that already has a base? Does he try and find an engagement to third party? This decision is going to decide what happens for the rest of the match.
And a lot of the teams here going out after that same decision. A couple of solos. Seti's just trying to go as deep into the zone as possible where it opened up. Reason still battling for Surge. Below 81, now 56, getting a couple of shots to go through, but nothing just yet to start to build that confidence. He sees another team towards the backside of zone getting focused, so that's 2 more options for him. Lox is going to be the one, and there's a couple of shots being landed, but it's still not going to be enough to get him above the threshold just yet.
Securing those extra little shots as he's on the ground, on his knees, but even going to take the opportunity to secure the extra bit of loot. Reaper sniper rifle in hand now. One quick shot could be all it takes to put him in a comfortable position, but he's going to shoot for the consumables, for the heals. He knows he has a player close by. 39 builds to work with. Zone pulls incredibly far. A rotate is going to have to come through. Reason you cannot spend a lot of time here as he decides to go directly in for the fight, but with unable to get that elimination. Flowberry Fizz going to be popped. And just 12 seconds left until zone starts closing. He needs to begin to rotate.
Yeah, this is a tough position to be in. Seti in the same spot, but him as a solo, able to find the knock on Risk. V is still somewhere around, but now he's left as a solo. You see no shields there in the distance. He's trying to make his rotation on out, and everybody here on this side of the map should. This is going to be a far pull with the majority of the lobby already making their way on over.
SETI, 143 above. It looks like we're watching a solo FNCS Grand Finals with the amount of players that are getting eliminated. SETI's going to try and go around all the players that are beelining it into zone, and it looks like it might just be successful. So far has not lost any shield on this rotate, and even might be able to get ahead.
Yeah, take note, he's not just straight grapple blading his way there. He doesn't want to get spotted out by as many of the teams as possible, trying to remain hidden. 77 damage above the threshold. That's enough for him as a solo as he moves and finds a corner in towards the zone. Probably the least congested corner where a team is currently positioned at, which could be a blessing or it could be a curse, depending on which side of the coin you look at when it comes to Storm Surge.
Looking up at the clouds, I see a Wild Thomas HD and Queasy double ramped up. Will they pull zone though? As it's pulled more north. They need to make something happen. Nice shots onto Swizzy. Looks like no elimination, but they are 264 above. And they have the highest elevation. They're at peak right now in the lobby. But Veno and Tayson aren't happy with that as they start chopping it down.
Yeah, that's something Veno is always looking for. Queasy Thomas sees that one coming from a mile away. They couldn't hold on to it regardless. They had to rotate to the front side. So they go ahead and make the rotation just a little bit sooner than they would hope. SETI's going to go ahead and try to gatekeep them out. They don't know he's a solo, so they stagger themselves, look back, try to spot out Tayson, Veno, Pootrick. A lot of opportunities, a couple of shots being landed. That's definitely going to help their Storm Surge.
209 above now.
Wow.
Man, be careful. Completely annihilated, cracked, left down to just the sliver at 30 HP as Thomas continues pushing in. Can he get into the box? He does. That's the knock.
That's the Thomas special. Using that mythic frenzy, making it look easy. Now they're going to bring the box in, gather up all that loot. They are the front side, just on the edge of the zone as well. Reason trying to do the same thing, but he's almost out of materials. He's using what he can. A leftover ramp, recycling. He's going green today.
Do they know? Just 7 builds. If the shots go on, he won't be able to handle much pressure. As Tayson and Veno, after chopping down Queasy and Thomas, now are looking to be the ones to hold on to height. They have the damage. They have the materials. Even a med kit in Veno's inventory. This could give them the win condition.
Yeah, one med kit usually just doesn't seem like enough, but the way these games have been going, very, very few heal-off opportunities. Even in that last game when it came to fruition, Pablo and Bevies are still able to come out on top without a single heal in their inventory. As Reason still trying to go through unnoticed. Luckily for him, the zone does pull back, but it's a blessing of its own, a curse in other ways, because all these teams are going to rotate, go right on over and bypass him, so he has to be careful with the minimal builds he has left.
Shots come through. Is it enough to put him above? It's not. 59 below still. Gonna be forced to medkit early here. No grapple blade. No crash pads in the inventory. Resin now has to walk towards zone. Medkit about to be used. No more heals. No more mobility. Just 3 more builds. He needs an elimination.
Yeah, take note. He's staggering himself, playing careful, looking around these corners, not wanting to get caught off guard, but in fact do the opposite, catch somebody else off guard. Changing layers, trying to make the right move because I don't think anybody's noticed him just yet. And he's sneaking up onto Queasy and Thomas. He can figure out a way to get in those builds, but I do think he has no choice but to kind of go around them instead of through. And there's going to be his opportunity, and the last of his builds going to be used.
Another duo close by. He needs to find a solo. Those are the best odds for getting that elimination, but Reason gets knocked down. Pablo Bevies wanting to make a back-to-back. 4 elims already. Solid layer, continuing to stay ahead.
They were 31 points to start this game, ahead of second place, and still so many placement points on the board to be grabbed. Tayson has the high ground. Thomas, Queasy, they're doing fine on the low, staying ahead of everybody else and building full-on tarps just to try to make sure that this water that they're traveling over is going to be little to no worry.
Players who are running out of materials are dropping down in the water now as Veno's high ground is getting contested. Is Tayson going to be able to hold on strong? No, it's Shakeoff. It's Skydude who've taken it.
Yep, and it doesn't look like Queasy is going to be able to look back and kind of target it just yet. Veno can't do it either. Tayson and him, they just go to the front side of the zone. They still have the grapple blades and the flowberry fizz, so getting up this mountain isn't going to be too much of a worry for them, but they still want to target that high ground. They don't want to let this victory royale go for free, and now they target it towards the back. Nice shots by Veno, but he loses Tayson along the way. It continues as he has one more player in his line of sight. That player is going gonna get knocked, and a double elimination coming through for Venno.
3 medkits, forced to start the heal off early, has the grapple blade to continue and get back up the ridge, but as Malabuka, Queasy's been knocked down, Merch Stash up on the high ground, Thomas as well, popping the heal off. Everybody is doing it early.
It's his chance, but he's getting targeted. Heal off is gonna get canceled. He gets taken down overall. Merstash gets dropped, leaving Malabuka by himself. But this is something we've seen Malabuka throughout this FNCS, his ability to solo clutch.
He needs the med kits though. He needs to find some heals. So many players are still down below. He's looking for these options. Where are the heals? Where are the med kits? Does he just go for the engagement as this one duo down below, still up and healthy? Mixin though in the zone. Malabuka taking shots as now he goes up for the shot, unable to connect it, holding on just 4 more builds.
He does a good job of blocking off Mixin, feeding him to the wolves on the low ground. Charyy, Gira, 6 eliminations so far, but Malabuka not going down without a fight. He tries to go ahead and slingshot his way back into the zone, but gets denied entry. There goes a big game for Gearys and Charyy.
Great way to secure the VR, and Malabuka, gotta commend him as well for staying up as long as he did. He didn't have that win condition in terms of the med kit, so he was just trying to get the elim, trying to stay up for that second place, put himself into a 1 versus 2, back-to-back second places. But that is more than enough to bump themselves up the leaderboard.
Yeah, and even though Merstash was down, he did so much damage on the backside of zone to both Venno and Tayson. He got credit for not one, but both of those eliminations. 8 more points for him, but that just made Charyy and Gira's job that much easier to take the game.
Huge boost in momentum for the duo from just having that chemistry. I mean, we saw how many solos were forced to clutch out this late game. Storm Surge is really affecting these mid game battles and just forcing these duos to play as a solo.
Yep, but that's going to be it for Game 5. Going to throw it on over to Analyst Decks to break down all the action and to see what we have coming up in our final game of the day.